Hey amiga, what is up and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Jennyfer Ross back at it again with yet another video. Today's video, as you can probably tell by the title, is going to be yet another story time. I know you guys like these type of videos. Let me know if you still like them though, because if you don't, then I can definitely stop making them. But today I'm going to talk about the time that my house almost got fire. Okay? So yeah, no long talking, let's just go ahead and get into the video. Once upon a time, it was a cold winter day, just like today, okay? It was a cold winter day. I was in school at that time and I remember it was freezing, okay? I am one of those people, or I am that friend, that if I promise you that we're gonna go out, but if I already get home and I'm comfortable and it's freezing outside, I won't come out of my house. So I was in school, my friend asked me whether I wanted to go to the casino and basically just have cocktails there and just, you know, have a fun ladies' night out. And I told her like, yes, no problem. We were in school at the moment that she asked me and I was planning on like going home, you know, get myself ready and then leave to her place. First start to pre-drink and then after that we would head over to the casino. So basically I was going home and it was freezing. It was a cold winter day. And I remember walking on the sidewalk. I was walking on the sidewalk and I saw like two shadows on the ground. My shadow and a shadow of a person bigger than me. So I look behind me, I look on the other side behind me, and there's nobody there, like nobody. And at the same time, that shadow reminded me of one time that I was little and I was walking with my dad and I remember that shadow from that exact moment. So I got like some type of deja vu moment back to the shadow when I was little. So I couldn't comprehend what was happening, whether I was just imagining it or whether I was just thinking about my dad, because my dad has passed away a few years ago, so I couldn't really comprehend what was going on. But I basically was almost home and I got inside. I like went straight into my bed. I got my clothes off and I went straight into my bed and I was laying there very comfortable. But the thing about seeing what I think was my dad didn't really leave me alone. So I took like a 20-minute power nap and then I woke up. This is so out of character for me, but I woke up and I was like, no, I'm gonna get up and shower and get ready and just go out, because I never do anything with my life. I don't know what got into me, because honestly, you guys, that is not in character for me. But I did. I woke up, I took a shower, I got ready, and I took a cab to my friend's house. And when I was in the cab, I called her and I told her like, hey, I'm on my way. Did you guys already start drinking or whatever? And she said like, no, we didn't start drinking. We're still getting ready, but I didn't expect you to come, because if you are my friend, you know this about me, that when I'm comfortable, I'm not gonna leave my place. So she was surprised, I guess, and rightfully so, because honestly, on a normal day, I would not have come. So I basically get to her place, we start like, you know, pre-drinking while they are finishing up getting ready. We're listening to music, basically having girl time. It was a lot of fun. And then later on we went to the casino. I don't remember how we got there, but anyways, that's beside the point. We went to the casino, we had a very lovely night, it was amazing. I'm also very strict when it comes to this. If we are living in the same city, if there is a way for me to get home, if I can take a taxi, if I can take a bus, if there is a way for me to get home, I don't see what's the point in me staying over. So I'm not one of those people who stays over that easily, you know? I think it has to do with the way I was raised. Because when I was little, my mom would never let me stay over anywhere, because she was just afraid that something was gonna happen to me, or I don't even know why. But well, that's another story. But anyways, I'm not used to staying over at people's place, and especially if you live in the same city as me and there is a way for me to get home, then I will for sure do, you know? So basically we reached the point where we are going home. We come out of the casino and I told the girls like, hey, I'm gonna grab a cab and I'm gonna go home. And my friend tells me like, you know what, no, just come to my place, like, you know, we're gonna like have some girl time, watch movies, and in the morning you can have breakfast and then you can grab your cab from my place and go home. And I don't know what has gotten into me, you guys, because normally I would never do this. I would never do this. I have no reason to. But I said yes. So I came to my friend's place. And we basically had a girls' night, we had some more wine, we watched movies, we made breakfast, you know, it was really fun. So, no care in the world, right? I slept on the couch, they slept in the bed, and then in the morning I wake up. It's about like 9:30 in the morning, and I see 70 missed calls. 70. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? Who died? You know, I'm just like, okay, this is not good. The calls were from my sister, they were from my mom, they were from another neighbor who lives close to my mom. Like, I was like, no, this is not good. And as I'm watching my phone and like trying to think like, you know, like getting myself together for whatever bad news I'm about to get, my sister calls and I pick up. And I asked her like, you know, what is going on? And there was a fire in your apartment building. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. My sister used to live very close to me at that time, like 5 minutes. So I was 100% sure like, oh my God, this is my apartment. I know this is my apartment. That is why they called 70 times. I started freaking out. Because I was like, okay, did I unplug the straightening iron? Did I, you know what, did I leave on to catch fire? So I tell her like, is it my apartment that caught fire? She's like, I don't know. But I heard that it's on the main floor. And I'm like, oh shit, because I live on the main floor. And I ask her like, can you please go and look? And she's like, yes, of course, I'm leaving right now. So I wake up the other girls. I'm like, yo, I need to go. There was a fire in my apartment building on my floor, you know, so I need to go and see what's going on. And I'm like in shock. I'm like half awake, half not awake. Like, you know, it's just not fun to wake up to news like that, you know. So my friend goes like, she wakes up and she's like still in shock. They were sleeping, so they come and sit with me and I started crying because I just felt like something was gonna be wrong. I don't know. And then I remember my sister called back and she was like, it's not your apartment, but it's the apartment from your neighbor. The neighbor directly next to you. You know? So I calmed down a little bit. I had a little bit of tea and then I called my cab and I wanted to go home to see what's going on. And if I can find a picture from that day, I will include it here. I will include that here so you guys can see. So I get to my apartment and I see everything like burnt down and my door is standing there like nothing touched it. It was just untouched. And I'm like, okay, that's still nothing because I don't know what has happened on the inside. So I opened my door and of course I did have like some damage from the fumes, but other than that, and the water that they use like to put down the fire, but other than that, everything was good. Nothing was even touched. And then the police came, but I was really in shock because I started to talk to other neighbors and ask like what happened. But apparently the police department came, or the fire department came. They had to evacuate the whole building. They apparently came to each door, like knocking like crazy. And if you didn't hear it, they would just move on to the next door. So imagine if I was home I would probably have ingested the fumes. I would have probably ended up in the hospital. This could have been so bad. This could have been so bad. But okay, then the people from the fire department, they came over and to ask me like whether I had insurance for my how do you call that? Inboedelverzekering. I don't know what the word is, but like some kind of insurance to cover for all your furniture. I don't know. I'll put it in the screen if I can find it. But anyways, they asked me if I had that, and to be honest with you guys, I did not have that. Honestly, you guys, that was very, very dumb. If you want to economize, never economize on your safety. If you have to take an insurance to cover those type of things, then do it, because you never know when something bad can happen, and it's better to be safe than to be sorry, you know? I could have lost like literally everything, and honestly, of course, they are materialistic things, so my life is worth more than that. So eventually I would have found a way around it if I would have lost everything. But it's so unnecessary, you know, to lose everything that you worked so hard for over something that you could have prevented, you know. So if you don't have one of those insurances, please go get one, because you just never know, okay? You just never know. But anyways, long story short, the fire department came, they to see if I was okay, to see if I had an insurance, to see if I had any like damage to my apartment or anything. And they also told me what happened in the other apartment. Basically, I went and I saw it with my own eyes. Everything burned down, everything. It was pitch black. The furniture, you could pick it up with your hands and it would like literally disappear into dust because everything was burnt down, okay? So they told me like, yes, he left his washer and his dryer on at the same time, and the whole thing glitched and caught fire. I was okay with that because like, that sounds like something that could happen, you know? So everybody that asked me, I told them like, you know, he left his washer and his dryer on, the whole situation glitched and everything caught fire. Now here is the point where things are gonna get sketchy. A few weeks later, after this all occurred, I don't remember where I was, but a friend called me and she goes like, hey. I'm like, hey. And she tells me like, I thought you told me that your neighbor's washing machine and his dryer, that they glitched and caught fire. And I was like, yes, that's what happened. And she goes like, no, that's not what happened, because your house is currently all over the news. My house was all over the news. So what actually happened, my neighbor was probably involved in some kind of business. All I can say is he wasn't selling cookies, if you know what I'm saying, you know? And meanwhile, we live in a student building. But that is none of my business though, you know? I'm just minding my business. But apparently he was doing something, you know, he was doing something. And those type of things attract other people, you know? So those people came to his house to get I don't know what, and then to get rid of all the evidence, they lit his apartment on fire. And after that they leave the apartment, you can see them jumping out of the window, and the whole thing like catches fire, like a big flame comes out of the window, and you could see that everything on the television show in which they were looking for the people who did it. So at that very moment I felt so unsafe in my own apartment. And previous to this, other things have happened. I got into fights with this neighbor before. I didn't have the feeling that he was attending school, and one of the rules to be living in that building was that you are attending school, but he wasn't. And while I was trying to study during the day or maybe during the night, this guy was playing reggaeton all night, you know? Don't get me wrong though, I do love me some reggaeton, but when I need to study, that whole raka is not gonna cut it, you know? So I went to his door like several times and asked him to stop, to quit it, but you know, situations kept occurring and occurring. So honestly, you guys, I felt really unsafe after all this. And the housing company, they had a petition going on whether he should return or not, and eventually they decided that he was not gonna return. They placed him in another building. That's none of my business though, so that is fine with me, but I was so happy that he didn't return. And long story short, appreciate your loved ones, because maybe there is life after that. I'm 100% convinced that that was my dad's shadow that I saw on the sidewalk. I'm 100% sure. My dad wasn't there for me when he was alive, but at that very moment, that was my dad. That was my dad, period. Period. That was my dad. And also, if you don't have an insurance to cover your furniture in case of a fire or whatever, go get yourself one, girl, because I can tell you from experience, I almost lost everything. And I was in that moment where I was wondering like, okay, I'm happy that I'm safe, but what if my house actually caught fire, you know? Then I would have lost everything. And of course, God never sends a problem without a solution, I'm 100% sure. But I would have had to start over completely, buy everything all over. And even though it is just materialistic things, if you can have a way to at least start over if something so terrible happens to you, you should definitely make sure you have that, okay? So yes, I hope you guys liked this video and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I love you so much, my amigas. Today's comment of the day goes to Tiffan. I hope I pronounced that right. And she said, Bon año, amiga, which means Happy New Year, amiga. Happy New Year, friend. So Happy New Year to you as well, Tiffan. Thank you so much for leaving such a nice comment under my video. I really appreciate you. If you want to be featured in the comment of the day, make sure you leave a nice comment down below in the comments. And I hope to see you soon in my next video. Bye guys! Mwah!